7 years ago, I was married to my dear ex, and we had been together for 6 years at this point. I thought we had a great relationship. Prior to this, I received a hefty inheritance. I used the money first to buy a condo for us to live in, a new car for her because hers was falling apart, as a thank you for her constant support over the years, and the rest went to starting my own company. I thought we loved each other. We had talked endlessly about kids, and we both wanted a family. One day, when I came home from work, she was seated on the couch and signaled for me to sit with her. That's when she told me she was pregnant. I was happy for like half a millisecond when I realized the impossibility of this happening because we were both cis women. Then I started to cry for what it meant. She started to cry too and said sorry, but that this could be a good thing now. Incredulously, I asked how on earth could this be a good thing. She said that this could be the perfect opportunity for us to have the family we always wanted. I didn't have the energy to argue at that moment, so I went to pack some things and told her I was going to stay with my cousin for a few days and left. I was a complete disaster with my cousin for a week. Then I returned, said I wanted a divorce, packed all the rest of my things while she told me that she can't do it without me and that I'm abandoning our child. I couldn't bring myself to say anything to her, so I just packed and left. In the divorce, I let her have the condo and my car. She demanded alimony, and I gave it to her for a year, even though she wasn't really entitled to it. She demanded child support, but was denied for obvious reasons, and a year later, we were officially divorced. A month before the divorce was finalized, I met someone new. I wasn't sure about dating, but my friends encouraged me to get back out there, so I did. It was slow at the start. I told her about my past, and she felt really bad for me. We went on dates, we kissed, then she stopped responding to my texts and calls for a week. I didn't know what was happening. She then showed up at my home looking sad and told me she's pregnant, to which I thought, not again. But she quickly explained that she found out a few days ago. She had an appointment that day and was told she was about 16 weeks along. She assured me that she didn't cheat since we had only known each other for 3 months. She acknowledged that this might be somehow triggering for me, expressed that she really likes me, but also understood if I wanted nothing to do with her, and then she left. Ultimately, I couldn't let her go, and we stayed together. The entire ordeal was a bit confusing at first, but we worked it out. Now my company is on the rise, and it has been for years. We bought a house, got married, had 2 more kids, a dog and a cat. Her family loves me, and my family loves her. But then last Saturday, my ex had to appear again. We were in a family gathering on my wife's side when she showed up at 2, in her words, exposed me as a horrible person who abandoned her wife and child, and left them with nothing to go start a new family with a S word and raise someone else's child, and that since I have money I have to start paying the overdue child support and blah blah blah. Apparently, she befriended my wife's cousin's wife at school, told her about me, gave my name, and wife's cousin's wife was shocked and appalled by my actions. She decided they were going to confront me in the family gathering for everyone to hear and show them the evidence. My wife tried to argue back but was cut off by her aunt and, in not a very nice way, kicked us out with a promise to take my treatment of my ex public and ruin my company. We left stunned, and my wife vowed she would never forget it if anyone dared to slander me. On Sunday morning, we got a call from my wife's dad to talk about the texts and voicemails they were receiving, so we went over for lunch and explained everything that happened. They knew I got divorced in the past, but I never told them why. They were understanding of the situation, but my mother-in-law still said that since I do have money, I should help my ex out, pay the child support, get her a place if she needs it, and be a parental figure in my ex's daughter's life. After all, the child was conceived during your marriage. She has some odd spiritual beliefs. My wife is now mad at her mom for saying that. My wife's siblings are mostly on our side, except one who's close to the cousin, and the cousin believes his wife. Update 1. Okay, so a few things happened. I got all the documentation about the divorce, made copies, and handed them to my wife's family, ensuring everyone could see the real truth, and I got some mixed reactions. There were people who told me they knew my ex was clearly crazy from the beginning, and said next to nothing because they thought it was obvious. They believed that those who sided with her were just as crazy, so talking to them would be like talking to a wall, and they chose to move on. They did apologize for not saying anything earlier, as they didn't think it could be so detrimental to me when it was clearly fake. Others initially believed my ex because she had evidence, but after showing them my documents, they apologized profusely and said they would support me in suing her and be witnesses and such. Then there were those who still believed my ex, like cousin's wife, aunt, and a few others who are close to them, accusing me of falsifying documents. I filed a restraining order. The temporary one was denied, but I have a hearing scheduled. I had a meeting with one of my biggest clients last week. We've known each other for a long time professionally. We're not friends, but he knew I got divorced years ago. When he arrived at the reception, I received him and asked him to follow me. He stopped me and said someone went to his office and told him about me abandoning a child and asked if it was true. I said it was false, gave him a brief recap, and offered to show him my divorce documents. He said it was not needed, trusted my word, and offered his help if I needed it in the future, and we moved on to our meeting. I was really mad that she actually went for my business, but then something even worse happened. My lawyer has been drafting a cease and desist letter, and I was debating whether I should just sue her or wait for the letter, but then Saturday happened. I took my kids to the mall to buy some things for summer. School classes are over, but their school still has some activities during the week, and there's a big event next weekend, and other things we needed to buy. When we came back, I gave the kids some bags and told them to go inside with them, and that I would handle the rest. I did a few trips in and out of the house, and when I was finishing unloading the trunk, I heard someone say, "Mommy?" I turned around, and there was a little girl standing there. I was confused, and the girl seemed scared. Then I see my ex approaching, and she tells the girl, yes, that's what she was supposed to be. The girl was still silent for the rest of the exchange, but my ex went off on me. I'm paraphrasing here, but this is basically the exchange. I can't believe you wouldn't want to be in her life. She's an amazing kid, an innocent kid that did nothing wrong. You just abandon her, and for what? For a random B-word who sleeps with everyone, gets pregnant, and then makes you responsible for her kid. Wasn't it you who tried to do that? I was not a random chick, it was different. Yeah, the difference is that she did not cheat on me, and I chose to be responsible. She didn't try to force me. We must have been screaming pretty loud because my wife came out of the house, told me to get inside, and that she's called the cops. I grabbed the last 2 bags and went inside. Through the window, I saw my ex grabbing the little girl by her arm rather harshly and dragging her to her car. Then she left. Now I'm actually worried about the girl. The police showed up, we talked to them, showed them footage from our security cameras, and even the footage from my car. I filed again for a temporary restraining order and it was approved, and I told my lawyer to forget about the letter. I'll be suing that nutcase. And I can confirm she doesn't live in the condo anymore. I'm not sure what happened to it or where she's living now, but we'll see. Update 2. Hello again, it's been a few weeks. Ex hasn't showed up at my door again since last time, thank the universe. She did, however, show up at my office looking for me last Monday, but I wasn't there, as I'm now working mostly from home to help my wife, who's in bed rest for the foreseeable future due to complications with the pregnancy. I did go to the office on Thursday, and as I was leaving to go home, my ex's sister was waiting for me. We were close back then, but cut contact when the cheating happened, and my therapist basically advised me to do so. Anyway, she said she has been coming for a few days and waiting outside, hoping to see me, and she needed to talk to me, and it was really important. So we went to a cafe nearby, and she told me what my ex has been up to since the divorce. She sold the condo about a year after the divorce was finalized and started renting a house. She said my ex said it was a quick way to make money to buy all the stuff a kid would need growing up. As time went on, her family saw stranger than normal behaviors in her. I'm not going to go into much detail, otherwise, we'd be here a long time, but essentially, she was diagnosed to be mentally unwell and was treated for a bit, but then she stopped. I talked to my lawyer. He said that makes some things tricky, as she could defend with not guilty by reason of insanity, but the fact she has been refusing treatment for a while now would help my case. Sister said that she's sorry for how my ex is acting and she would help me with whatever I need with the case. She's still around her sister to try and mitigate her episodes for the sake of her niece. I asked why CPS hadn't gotten involved, and she said her parents were intervening to make sure that didn't happen. I couldn't stay longer. I had to get home before my ex-sister-in-law had to leave, so we exchanged numbers and will be in contact if needed. Update 3. Sorry it's been so long. The youngest of our bunch was feeling excluded, always being in that same little room all the time, and she decided to come out earlier than expected. Mixed with the ICU stay and school starting, I feel like I would like to sleep into the next year, but thankfully, everyone is doing great now. As for my ex, the anxiety levels I was managing were off the charts back then. They are still high, but I can breathe now. Basically, there was silence for about 2 weeks, and then I got a call that she attempted to cash out a fake check in my name. I have no idea how she found my bank, but just like the fertility clinic documents, the check was clearly fake and didn't fool the clerk, and she was arrested immediately. Right now, she's in a psychiatric facility receiving treatment. I'm not sure how long she'll stay there, but once she's out, she's going to trial for check fraud, and from what I've been told, it doesn't look good for her. On the other hand, her parents are aware that I was planning to sue her and that I have evidence of another forgery crime committed by her. They begged me not to pursue them since that would likely send their daughter away for longer. Maybe unpopular, but I made a deal with them that somehow they would make sure that everyone she defamed me to will know the truth. I don't want to deal with this right now, so I accepted, and so far so good. In regards to the girl, I'm happy to say she's with my ex's sister right now. I won't go into detail, but it seems that there's no way for my ex to get her back in the future. Even though it's not my business, I let my ex's sister know that if her parents try to get the girl, I will help her with that. My wife and I are also taking some distance from my mother-in-law. It seems that my ex befriending the cousin was a coincidence that they both decided to use for their own advantages. The cousin and the aunt just used my ex's lies to get revenge on me since they're jealous of how much money I make. So that's all for now, thank you everyone.